Shuddho buddho vimuktaha Shruti shikharagiram Mukhyatat paryabhumi Yasmad jadam samastam Jagadidam amritat vyapya Sarvam sthito yaha Yasyam sham shabataraihi Suranaravanajairekshidam Sarvametad Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridigatam amalam Krishnameva prapadye Tam bhumanam mukundam Hridigatam amalam Krishnameva prapadye Madhya hridaya kashe Sadanandamayo Guru Udetu satatam samyak Swatmananda prabodhakaha. Ashwini, you used to give me something for my back. Forgot. Harihi, Harihi, Harihi Om Tassat. Harihi Om Tassat. Jai Guru, Jai Guru, Jai Guru. As usual, we shall have 3 times joint recitation of Omkara, whereby our recitation will be permeating the whole of the earth, showering its benedictions on all creatures. Interlock your fingers and put them on your lap. Sit comfortably erect. Close your eyes. Open the mouth and the heart and join me. Karpanyadosho bhagata swabhavaha Karpanyadosho bhagata swabhavaha
Karpanyadosho pahata svabhavaha
Pritchami tvam Dharma sammudha cheta
Dharma sammudha cheta
Yachreyasya
Yachreyasya
Nishchitam bruhi tanme
Nishchitam bruhi tanme
Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam
Shadhimam
Tvam prapannam
Tvam prapannam
Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam
Shadhimam
Tvam prapannam
Tvam prapannam.
See how much you are attentive when I say Tvam. See? Are you not behaving like children? What is this? Shishyasteham
Shishyasteham
Shadhimam
Shadhimam
Tvam prapannam
Tvam prapannam.
First of all, let me ask you, did you reflect upon the message that you had yesterday? Huh? Whenever I hear, I don't hear, I hear people, and whatever they say, I remember, it goes deep into my heart. Otherwise, nobody talks to me like this. So, whenever I read, especially Sanskrit, our ancient literature, whenever a point of view or an analysis or a perception or a perspective is presented, you know how deeply it goes into me. And from that time it is with me. Cannot be a same approach be had from you, by you. You have come here to receive knowledge. Knowledge can only be received. I speak, transmitting ideas in the form of sound. They strike your eardrums. Then electrical pulses are sent to the brain centers. There the experience and knowledge result. This process cannot be interfered with. Now, if you have received a knowledge, why are you receiving it? To forget it or to remember and apply it? In remembering and applying it, in what way are you interfered with? I am asking you. We are speaking about life. What is the message I delivered yesterday? I delivered the message that Sukha Dukkha alternates. Sukha and Dukkha are alternates. And these alternates constantly get formed in our mind. Ever since you wake up in the morning, till you go down in sleep at the end of the day, interactions through the senses take place with the objects of the world. And every interaction is bound to produce Sukha Dukkha alternates, one or the other. No, I will not leave you there. They are alternates. They don't occur alike together. Either of them will be and the other will be absent. So either it is Sukha or it is Dukkha. Sukha following Dukkha and Dukkha following Sukha. They are transitory. They are called by Krishna Agama Apayins. They come and go. They come only to go. They go only to come. So you cannot stop the process of their coming and going, coming and going, coming and going. And you don't have to make any effort for them. It's enough if you have senses. It's enough if you have a brain. If the senses and the brain are there, automatically interactions with the objects of the world take place, and the interactions will inevitably result in either Sukha or Dukkha. Now the Sukha part is acceptable for you. Only the Dukkha poses a problem. Now we are to take away the effect of Dukkha from this. What is the effect? It tries to depress you, create tension, dislike and what not. But we are proving that it is transitory. And what is this Dukkha? Dukkha is inevitable if you want to have Sukha. You are interested in Sukha, but it will be at the cost of Dukkha. The so-called Sukha can occur only in between two Dukkhas. So in experiencing a Sukha, do you have Sukha more or Dukkha more? On the other hand, if you experience Dukkha, that also will have to be preceded and succeeded by Sukha. So for every Dukkha you have two Sukhas. You tell me which is better now. Do you know that this is spiritual reflection? It is not for fun. It's a fact. It's an analysis of your experiences. Why is it that you are blind to it? Arjuna was blind all along. That is why he was unnerved in the battlefield. Can a fighter be unnerved? Was he not an illustrious fighter who had fought quite a number of wars? And suddenly he crumbled. What is the reason for crumbling? Because he had not taken up an analysis of mind, an analysis of human life, an analysis of the interactions we have constantly with the world during the wakeful hours. The interactions are proceeding from us. They are subsisting on us. They are terminating in us. So in our interactions with the world, is there any point of time when you are away and the world overtakes? Tell me. I don't think you have understood what I said. Who is interacting? You are interacting. Where are the interactions subsisting on you? Where are they terminating? So they are generated by you, initiated by you, they subsist on you and they terminate in you. Where is the place for the world then? Answer me. Interactions which you initiate, which subsist on you and terminate in you, are you not the Lord and Master of the whole process? Answer me, my dear souls. Where is the place for the world? No world object enters me to create an interaction. The world remains where it is. I interact. Where am I interacting? Inside my body, in the sphere of the mind, plane of the mind. The mind takes an imprint of an object. Though it is an imprint of the object, tell me substantially or substantively, what is that imprint? It is a mind imprint. The mind makes on itself. In the whole process, is the mind the master or the slave? Boliye na, chup rehte hain kyun? What happens to your intelligence, I am asking you? Awaken it. Think about it. In the whole process of interaction, is there any place for the world? Because everything is taking place within me. And what is it? It is an imprint. Imprint of what? Of the mind. Made where? By the mind. And it lasts for a while. It is generated by the mind, preserved by the mind, terminated and dissolved by the mind. And such imprints are overtaking you. They are a mind product. They are a mind product. They are subsisting on the mind, and the mind dissolves them. Can the waves of the ocean affect the expansive water in the ocean? Then why is it mental imprints agitate you unnecessarily? Answer me. This is a knowledge question. You cannot bring emotions here. You are the author. You are the sustainer, the preserver, and you are the dissolver. Tell me whether there is any thought or reaction of the mind which does not dissolve in the mind. Huh? A newly married couple, the husband, does he always think of the wife? Vice versa also. The newborn child, long expected child, does the mother always think of the child? Huh? Every thought subsides. Every thought, as it germinates and emerges, so it subsides also. So what is the surviving factor in the whole mind? Are the thoughts the surviving element, or the mind and the mind substance the surviving element? So what have you lost by a dukkha? And what have you gained by a sukha? Tell me. Do you stand to gain or do you stand to lose? You only have the mind and the mind substance, and they continue to be. When you start feeding your system, feeding your mind with this kind of a knowledge, do you know the effect is very tremendous? Inch by inch, the dukkha will lose its impact. I told you yesterday, people who are very much tragically affected, they come to the ashram, somebody brings, and I start talking to them. Invariably, it is the death of the husband or the son, etc. So I talk to them patiently. I don't know. I listen to them, absorb what I say. And I say, I have no objection if you cry. Every day you make it a point to cry for 5 minutes or 3 minutes. But after crying, you must have relief, I say. Otherwise, don't cry. Crying is a very natural expression. Even the born child, to prove it is going to live in this world, cries. So I asked a gynecologist, the crying of the newborn child, how is it crying? Crying is a word to indicate the distress of the jiva. So the child is proving that it is animated, it is independent, it is going to take breath. This is the cry. So can it you call the cry? No. Then we don't know, I have to consult. She did not told me again. It is not crying at all. It is a very beautiful, enlivening expression in the case of the child. Unless a born child produces that sound, it is dead. So these Sukha Dukhas will lose their intensity, will lose their impact. Feed this knowledge, feed this knowledge, feed this knowledge. Both Sukha and Dukkha are created by my mind. My mind is far greater than the oceans, even the space. The waves and breakers arising on the surface of the sea do not affect the sea at all. The sea is so vast and deep. If the mind is vaster than the sea, can the Sukha Dukkha waves affect it? Huh? Is there anybody who says no or no not? If anybody says no, no, or no, 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 different, can there be two answers to this? Our mind is much vaster and deeper than the sea. Those Sukha Dukkha waves cannot affect it. Why don't you pleasantly, we have no word, so I have to use words like this. Why don't you, with a sense of harmony, great refinement, a kind of a deep and lofty insight, why don't you look at the Sukha Dukkhas? Come and go, come and go. Be looking at. Every man who reports unhappiness, he experiences unhappiness. After unhappiness, he becomes happy also. So what is his expression? I am unhappy, I am happy, I am unhappy, I am happy. By saying I am unhappy and I am happy, what are you referring to? The I and the am are such that both of them can go through happiness and unhappiness unhurt. Am I right or wrong? Boliye na thoda. This is knowledge, Baba. This is knowledge. I am undergoing the unhappiness and I survive it. Then I become happy. Again I will become unhappy. So the I and the am are such that they are not devoured by happiness or unhappiness. Is it a fact or a fiction? If it is a fact, does it need your approval or disapproval? Fire is hot. Ice is cold. They don't require your permission and consent. A judgment from the Supreme Court. No, not at all. In the same manner, the I and the am in you are such that they are never eaten up by happiness or eaten up by unhappiness. Now pleasantness is acceptable to you and unpleasantness is rejectable to you. Rewrite your judgment. Both of them are equally acceptable or both of them are equally rejectable. You tell me, which do you want? Who asked you to give a preference to Sukha and a prejudice to Dukkha? Tell me whether there is any validity and reason in your doing so. The eyes are closing and opening. Can you say, I prefer the eyes to be only open and not closing? The heart beats and relaxes, beats and relaxes. Can you avoid the two? Can you have only hunger and not appeasement, or appeasement and not hunger? Everything in this world is like that. Everything is, there is no motion in straight line at all in the world. Every motion is a cyclic motion. That means what? It goes up and down. This is what I asked you. Did you introspect over the message you got yesterday? At least do it today. Now, one point I made. I am very good in this. I am very good. To catch hold of people with a pair of tongs. The entire world and the whole of your life can give you only Sukha Dukhas. Whether you have one child or two children or no child, whether you have married a good partner or not so, whatever be the situation, you will find the world and our life can generate only Sukha Dukhas. And the Sukha Dukhas are not generated by the world, they are generated by your own mind. So will you stop saying, something else causes my Sukha and Dukkha? Sukha Dukhas are the natural alternate responses of my own mind. So who is the source? What is the source? Who is the author? So where is the place for the world then? Boliye na thoda. In Srimad Bhagavata there is a Bhikshu Gita. If I narrate the story, it will take time, so I will not. There was a very, very rich man, a Brahmin. But he was a miser of the worst order. Even a beggar, if he goes to him, he will not give anything. So people started cursing him. But he had ample resources. After some time, it so happened that part of his wealth was taken away by relatives, part of it by the government, and part of it by the thieves. And he became a destitute. So he started wandering. People knew him, so they said, this is an impostor. He was a rich man, and now he pretends to be a destitute. And started accusing him, throwing stones at him. Some people came and poured urine on his head. And a lot of abuse and ridicule was there. You know, at the end of it, he says, he sang a song. What? He sang a song. And the first line of this particular poem is, Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu. Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu. Na devata atma graha karma kalaha. Manah param karanamamananti samsara chakram parivartayedyad. It is called Bhikshu Gita. You know, so many Gitas are there. We have Avadhuta Gita, Bhikshu Gita, Pingala Gita. Gita sung by Pingala, the famous prostitute of Mithila. All of them are Gitas for us. This is India, my dear souls. Understand it. Wisdom can reign anywhere. You have to extract it, distinguish it, detect it. He says, Nayam jano me sukha dukkha hetuhu. None of these people is responsible for my sukha and dukkha. Na devata atma graha karma kalaha. Nor God, nor the self, nor the planets, nor time. Manah param karanamamanandi. Manah param karanamamanandi. The sole cause for all the experiences that you have is your own mind. What? Mind. Samsara chakram parivartayed yad. This is the mind that revolves the world before you. Nothing else. Nothing else. So never say that the world is inert. The world is inert. So never say that the world causes experience. Will the world cause experience within a dead body? Huh? Will the world cause any experience in a sleeping man? So the experiences are caused by whom? By the mind. Mind is the author. And tell the mind, they come and go, but I don't go and come. Tell them, come and go. I shall be here for you to come and go. I am your substratum. I am your support. I remain sovereign. How many times I have been hit by dukkha and hit by sukha? Still I remain to be further hit. I want to know, am I talking nonsense or sense? Huh? See, what do you think of Hinduism? Hinduism is full of reason, logic, philosophy. Brihaspati, the preceptor of Devas, says, even if the scripture says something, don't accept it. Put it to reason. Only when it is sanctioned by reason, you accept it, not otherwise. What do you say? Yukti yuktam pragrinhiyad baladapi vichakshanaha anyacha trinavatyajyam apyuktam padmayonina. Even if a child speaks reasonably, lend your ears and assimilate it in your mind. Suppose something unacceptable to reason and logic is said by Brahma, reject it like a blade of grass. What do you say? What is Krishna doing with Arjuna? He makes Arjuna to reflect upon life, to reflect upon the fleeting and transitory Sukha Dukhas, and he is taking him to their substratum, which is within himself. However much you pamper Sukha, will it last for long? However you dislike Dukkha, will it avoid visiting you? Then why are you doing? Why are you lamenting? You are a fool of the first order. That is why we lament. Why should we? Ashocyan anvashochaha. You are grieving over those people who should not be grieved at. This is the beginning point of Krishna's instruction. The world consists of only dvandvas, pairs of opposites. I put it generally, a collection or a conglomeration of dvandvas. We have two spheres of activity. One is the domestic or residential front. Another is the professional front. The third is the societal front. In all these we are interacting with other individuals. In all the three fronts you will have dvandvas. You will have dvandvas. So dvandvas are the only resultants of the whole of your life. The whole of the world. And their focus and locus are not in the world, but in your mind. The very understanding of it, will it not change the style and pattern of your life? Huh? Huh? You have to own up the Sukha Dukhas. My mind generates it. My mind generates it because it is not affected by them. Has any dukkha eaten up the mind? Huh? Has any sukha exhausted the mind? The mind survives every time. Why don't you heed the mind? Understand it more and more, more and more. It is this mind that reflects the whole world. It is not the eyes that reflect or ears that reflect. It is the mind. The mind. The mind is the perceiver. The perceived is an imprint by the mind in the mind. As a perceiver, as the perceiving process, and as the perceived object. हमारे साथ है आप लोग? Either as the perceiver, or as the perceiving process, or as the perceived object. Is there any factor other than the mind in you? Are not all the three equally belonging to the mind? Similarly, I say, contentment belongs to the mind. It never belongs to an object or the body. When you understand that contentment is an emotion and it belongs to the mind, where should you look for contentment? Boliye na? Huh? Mind. Stop looking for contentment from outside. Can I rely on you? Are you trustworthy? Once you have understood it, rewrite your judgment. Contentment belongs to the mind. Mind is inside the body. It is not part of the body. The mind. And ask the mind to produce contentment. Ask the mind to produce a kind of a tolerance, a forbearance towards Sukha Dukhas. It's a question of tutoring your mind and bringing the necessary outcome. So Sukha Dukhas are the only resultant outcomes of the world as well as life. And if these are generated by you, preserved by you, experienced by you, tell me what is the role the world has to play. So be a master of Sukha Dukhas, thereby win over the world. Only these two fleeting responses, you have to evenize them, that's all. I remember the words of Prahlada. I don't think you have given ample importance to that. Sukham aindriyakam daitya dehayogena dehinam sarvatra labhyate devat yatha dukkham ayatnataha. He says, the Sukha and Dukkha are available everywhere. In the heavens, everywhere in the universe. Sukham aindriyakam daitya dehayogena dohinam. How are we having it? Because we have become embodied. Because we have a body in which 5 senses are there. Which senses perceive the objects and interact with the objects, automatically Sukha Dukhas will be there. Sarvatra labhyate devat. By virtue of the providential factor, they are available everywhere. Sukha is available. Yatha dukkham ayatnataha. Just like you are having dukkha, for which you never try. So without trying, you are forced to have dukkha. And if this dukkha is there, it can be only after Sukha. And it can be only for Sukha. So for one dukkha, you have poliyana, a preceding Sukha and a succeeding Sukha. So is not dukkha our friend? Poliyana. If you have this attitude, what will happen? This is why people come to the ashram, and after I talk to them and I tell them, you have come here, you have wept, I agree, very good. But before you go, you should smile. And they smile and go. Let it be any kind of a dukkha. If Sukha Dukhas are fleeting, transitory, the question necessarily arises, what is the non-transitory? What is the everlasting? I don't know whether you follow the discussion. Huh? Arjuna is being taught. His mind and intelligence are evoked to undergo the introspection. Left to himself, he would not have introspected. So he says, Avinashidu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam vinasham avyayasya na kaschit kartumarhadi. Are you really following me? Coming along with me. Avinashidu tadvidhi
अविनाशितु तद्विद्धि
येन सर्वमिदं ततं
येन सर्वमिदं ततं
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
विनाशमव्ययस्यास्य
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति.
न कश्चित् कर्तुमर्हति.
Arjuna, Sukha Dukhas are fleeting. Fleeting things cannot by themselves endure. So there must be a substratum for them. Is the reasoning clear? Huh? See, whenever the things are changeful, fleeting means changing. Change means what? Transformation. So when X transforms, so X has disappeared. So a change to become true and meaningful, whatever is present vanishes and whatever is not present appears. So in a change you will find an extinction and an emergence. If the thing existing now subsides, then what will bring the other? Not clear? Huh? See, we are wakeful. At the end of the wakefulness means the wakefulness subsides, so it has gone. Then who will bring the sleep? And we are sleeping. The sleeping also disappears and brings wakefulness. All the three states we have are transiting. So when wakefulness subsides, the subsiding wakefulness, how can it bring sleep? Because it has gone. So there must be a substratum which alone can survive and bring. So why we are wakeful and we are asleep and we are dreaming? Because other than the dream, wakefulness and sleep, there is an I there. I dreamt, I slept, and I am wakeful. The I element does not change at all. It does not disappear or appear. It is that I that brings sleep when wakefulness disappears. When sleep disappears, brings wakefulness or dream. So, avinashitu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam. You see, you people are not realistic. You should understand that there was a dialogue. Where was this dialogue? On the chariot. Krishna is holding the reins of the horses, turning back and talking to Arjuna. It is not written, Baba, written much later. This was a dialogue. Why? Arjuna was trembling. He could not stand. He laid his weapons down. Now Arjuna had to be restored. What can restore him? It is this talk that restored him. Do you understand it? It is not a philosophy given to a man whose stomach is full, who has no other occupation. He sits on a sofa, let me listen to something. It's not something like that. Arjuna was in total distress, caused by the thought of 4.5 million warriors dying, being killed. Can you imagine the sorrow he had? And that sorrow slips. Avinashidu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam. Know that to be indestructible, which pervades and permeates all these. What is all? Can we ever see the all? So far as we are concerned, Sukha and Duhkha are the all. Tell me, is it so or not? Boliye na. You may have 4 children. From the 4, what will you get? Sukha and Duhkha. If it was only one child, then also? So Sukha and Duhkha. Sukha and Duhkha are the resultants of the entire world and life. And these Sukha Duhkhas are pervaded by something. They are transitory. And the transitory Sukha Duhkhas are permeated by something that is indestructible. Avinashi. So where is it available? Sukha Duhkhas are in your mind. And what pervades Sukha and Duhkha must also be inside. So are you only Sukha Duhkhas or are you also the indestructible? Boliye na. Say that, I am indestructible, I am indestructible, I am indestructible. Asangoham, 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 punah punaha, satchidananda ruboham, ahamevaham avyayaha. I am the indestructible, irreducible, inexhaustible. Tell me, has the I been exhausted by the experience of Sukha Duhkhas? What more do you want? I always say, when a child is born, he is bestowed with a twofold heredity. One is mortality imposed by the body, another is immortality imposed by the consciousness, the power, the presence that animates the body. You only speak about the body. You have no sense, no interest, no inclination to listen to or understand the other. You are the Arjunas before he saw Bhishma and Drona in the battlefield. Become Arjuna after he saw them and Krishna spoke to them. Not the Arjuna before. Vinasham avyayasya na kaschit kartum arhati. This indestructible I, the inmost presence which animates the body, none can bring about destruction to it. And our Shankaracharya adds, Ishwaraha abhi. Even God cannot destroy this indestructible. You know, God is a failure to bring about destruction of the whole world. Shall I tell you something?
Yes.
We have got a Nasadiya Sukta in Rigveda. Nasadasid, no sadasid. This is how it begins. Suppose the whole world it is subject to evolution, growth, etc. You think of the time when there was nothing and the world began to emerge. So before the emergence started and all the permutations and combinations changes took place, what was there? Can you call it existence? Because existence was yet to be. This is existence. This existence was not there. Was it non-existence? बोलिए ना, चुप रहते हैं क्यों? हाँ? If it was non-existence, how could existence come from there? बोलिए ना. It was the source of existence. It was the source of existence. There was no existence to begin with, no display. So they say, na sadasid, no sadasid, tadanim. At that point of time, even this reference is wrong. Time was not there at all. So when I say at that point of time, it is wrong. Time commences when existence and display come to be. Are you able to understand? Huh? It was something where neither existence nor existence was there. The Japanese people came and recorded this from me, from the ashram, on a subject called Einstein and space. So I had made some references in the quietude of the mind to record it. Avinashidu tadvidhi yena sarvamidam tadam vinasham avyayasyasya na kaschit kartum arhadi. So Arjuna wondered, if everything is indestructible, the I is indestructible, then why should I fight at all? He says, you are fighting. Do you mean to say the I is fighting? The self is fighting? No, the fight is between the bodies. So he says, the bodies are destructible. Antavanta ime dehaha nityasyokta sharirinaha anashino aprameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharata. All people have come with bow and arrow. Where are they? Bow and arrow. They are held by the hands, by the body. You also have a body. So it is a fight between the bodies. It is never a fight between the souls. No fight. Anashino prameyasya tasmat yudhyasva bharata. Therefore, fight. Yeyenam veti hantaram yaschainam manyadehadam ubhautau na vijanido nayam hantina hanyade. Arjuna, you fight. I am also asking you to fight. If anybody in the process says that the soul represented by the I, the I in you, if you say it has killed or it has been killed, both the people, both the viewers do not know the truth. In English there is a poem, if the red slayer thinks he slays and the slain thinks he is slain, they know not well the subtle ways I keep and pass and turn again. Suniye na. No father will tell you, no mother will tell you, no uncle will tell you, no academic teacher will tell you, no research center will expose this. You can hear it only from a Sadguru, not from anybody else. That is why Shaunaka, a great householder, unable to be helped by anybody, had to go to Angiras, who was living in a hermitage in the forest. He asked him, Kasminnu bhagavo vijñāte sarvamidam vijñātam bhavati. I have a question in my heart, by knowing which can the entirety of everything be known. By knowing which everything will be known. This was the question. Tell me, what is the nature of the Upanishad then? Is it not a scientific investigation? Ultimately, what is the science depending upon? Is it depending upon the telescope and the microscope, or even the biological eyes, or the inner intelligence and consciousness? Huh? Yenam veti hantaram. Never consider that the soul is involved in activity and kills, nor is it involved in the activity and the result it produces and gets killed. Then what is the soul? This is the most pronounced verse in Bhagavad Gita. I would like you to recite it if possible. At least, how much shall I say? Shall I say 1,000 or 10,000 or 50,000 times? न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित् नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. In my Purvashrama, I was in Calcutta. So I got suddenly chicken pox. So we were huddled up in the room, could not go anywhere. Not hospitalized, it is not in our way. Chicken pox is okay. Even smallpox, we don't take patients to the hospital. So I had to be in the room. I picked up Bhagavad Gita and started reading. When I was reading this verse, oh, what a mountainous inspiration I got from it. Na jayate. I was having a very good headache. I took a cloth and tied it around my forehead and squeezed it and started reciting. The first time I read Bhagavad Gita in full was during the chicken pox attack. I was so happy. Na jayate mriyate va kadachid.
जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः
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 अजो नित्यः
अजो नित्यः
शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो
शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो
न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे
न हन्यते न हन्यमाने शरीरे
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्
न जायते म्रियते वा कदाचित्
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः
नायं भूत्वा भविता वा न भूयः
अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो
अजो नित्यः शाश्वतोऽयं पुराणो
न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे
न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे.
None of you should say somebody has died. What are you saying? Who are you to say he has died? Have you seen him? When he was living, did you see anything other than the body? Why are you keeping quiet? In your family members, are you seeing their bodies or are you seeing their souls? Have you ever seen the soul of anybody? Then why do you say he has died? Say the body has stopped pulsation. You cannot say he has died. Who are you to say that? Anybody has come to say, I have died and I am here? Is there anybody who has experienced his birth? Will anybody experience his death? So are you not stark liars to say that X is born, Y has died, etc.? Know the truth. Na jayade, it never gets born. Mriyade va kadachid, nor any time it dies. Nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuyah. After having been for a while, it does not disappear. It is not a prostitute, understand. Having been, it disappears. What do you mean by that? Ajo nityaha, then what is it? Ajaha, unborn. Nityaha, eternal. Shashwataha, without any change whatsoever. Puranaha, most ancient. most ancient. What do you mean by ancient, most ancient? The whole world was not there at a time. Even then, some presence was there. Something was there. We don't have a word to indicate it. We cannot call it existence, because existence is what we see in the form of a sensory display around us. Purana na hanyade hanyamane sharire. When the body is killed, it is not getting destroyed. It is not getting destroyed. Do you mean to say nature kills us mercilessly? Will nature kill? Boliye na thoda. Huh? Then what is happening? So this verse, I want you to write it, put it on the drawing room, hang it on the wall, in the kitchen, in the bedroom, everywhere. And think about it, reflect upon it. Our body is born. Our body is born. The born body is animated. Animated. That animation is a power and a presence different from the body. That presence is not born. It was, it is, and it will be. Nothing happens to it. The body is a biological aggregate. It's a biological formation. Biologically, it gets deranged. It has no more power to live as a unit. That is called death. Death does not indicate any extinction at all. It only indicates a transition. 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 Never say somebody has died and become non-existent. Such changes were there in the body before. Birth itself is a transition from the mother's womb to the outside world. Then the child goes on growing, growing, growing. Are they not changes? Ultimately, in the same body, it cannot survive. So just like a bulb getting fused, the body also fuses off. That's all. Veda vinashinam nityam yayena majamavyayam katham sapurusha partha kam ghadayati handikam. Now Arjuna, as an answer and a solution for your suffering, you said my whole body, the senses are scorched by grief. The only way will be you have to know the self. Activate your intelligence, employ it, and reflect upon the words and the messages, the ideas I present before you. And with every reflection you will find your grief mitigates. It becomes lesser and lesser. Do you believe it? Huh? No. Huh? When the intelligence takes over and it begins its introspection, can the mind afford to interfere? The intelligence is a much greater agency. It is the elder brother of the mind. So when the intelligence is active, the mind will not interfere. This is the only way. Krishna summarizes the Sankhya Yoga. It's very beautiful. Readers and commentators of Gita also, they don't put the necessary focus here. It is missed. Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam pabam avapsyasi. You spoke about great sin accruing to you. He involved Krishna also. All of us will have to live in hell for an indefinitely long period, he said. He says, Sukha dukkhe same krutva labha labhau jaya jayau tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam papam avapsyasi. Arjuna, all that I have spoken to you is Sankhya. Sankhya means the Upanishad Vidya. It is the knowledge about the singular non-dual existence, soul. That Upanishad Vidya I have presented to you first, because this is the one goal of human life. So he says, Sukha Duhkha same krutva. The world can give only two experiences, responses in you. These Sukha Dukhas, treat them equally. Have evenness, equalness, equipoise towards them. Sukha Dukhas will come repeatedly and will repeatedly go. Their arrival and departure, they give you an ample opportunity. They compel and persuade you to have evenness. So your evenness will be coexistential with Sukha Dukhas. Have you understood my words? Huh? Have you? सुख और दुख होते ही रहेंगे. जब वो दोनों होते रहते हैं, साथ ही साथ हमारी बुद्धि से समभाव उत्पन्न होना चाहिए. So, don't you think the Sukha Dukhas will necessarily awaken in you an evenness? Yes or no? Yes. बोलिए ना थोड़ा. Once you hear this, understand this, the incidents of Sukha Dukkha will necessarily generate evenness from you. So do you have to go anywhere to generate evenness? बोलिए. कुछ ज़्यादा पढ़ना चाहिए क्या? हाँ? इतना समझने से काफ़ी है. So let the Sukha Dukkha's come automatically, like trying to learn swimming in drowning water. And after learning, you start swimming very beautifully there without getting drowned. You will not be drowned by Sukha Dukhas, because you have generated equipoise, not towards anything else, but only towards Sukha Dukhas. Similarly, other secular concepts, labha, labhau, jaya, jayau. Labha, labha, gain and loss. Jaya, jayo, victory and defeat. Tato yuddhaya yujyasva. Equipped and enriched by this equipoise in your mind, Arjuna, yuddhaya yujyasva. Get up, resolved to fight. Naivam pabam avapsyasi. No sin will ever accrue. No sin will ever. So where is the solution for sin? You know, every activity in this world is accompanied by sin. Sarvarambha hi doshena dhumena agni rivavrita, Krishna says. All undertakings in this world are associated with evil. So if we have to get away from that evil, remain untainted, drowned by that, the only way will be to develop this equipoise. In order to practice this equipoise, do you have to stand on your head? Do you have to fast? Do you have to go to the forest? Or you should live in your own house, in your own world, in your own profession? Sukha dukkhe same krutva. Labha labhau jaya jayo tato yuddhaya yujyasva naivam pabam avapsyasi. Recite that. Sukha dukkhe same krutva.
Sukha dukkhe same krutva.
Labha labhau jaya jayo.
Labha labhau jaya jayo.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Tato yuddhaya yujyasva.
Naivam pabam avapsyasi.
Naivam papam avapsyasi.
See how sensitively, attentively, with full remembrance, Krishna sings to Arjuna. Naivam papam avapsisi tato yuddhaya yujyasva samadukhe sukhadukhe same kritva labha labhau jaya jayo. What is Sankhya? It is Upanishad Vidya. What is meant by Vidya? Vidya means knowledge. What is the practice called knowledge? You tell me. It is not a physical practice like cycling or driving. It is practice and pursuit of knowledge. Where should it take place? It is a mento-intellectual pursuit. My dear souls, read Bhagavad Gita. Will you? No. We choose to be disobedient. Read one sloka, 2 or 3 a day. Try to understand, split the words, get the prose order. In the book which I have written, Insight into Bhagavad Gita, you will find it is presented in transliteration also. Functionally and experientially, Sukha Dukhas are the only experiences we have in this world. Wherever you are, whatever you do. And these two are so repetitively occurring that your evenness also will prevail with equal importance and relevance. In the whole day, how much time do you walk? I don't think you will walk even for an hour or two. But this practice can be concurrent with your wakeful activities and interactions. Krishna is adding Karma Yoga. Sankhya Yoga is over. And he speaks about yoga. Actually it is yoga, not Karma Yoga. That yoga, there are many people who will say, I am a Karma Yogin, I am a Karma Yogin. Because he is not a sannyasin, that is what he means. Karma Yoga means what? Not the doing of karma. That even animals and birds are doing. Earth is revolving. That is also doing karma. Within the atom is a constant revolution. So don't say, I am a karmi. Never say that. Tell me whether you are a yogi. What is that yoga? It is a yoga buddhi. What? It is for the buddhi, not for the hands, not for the tongue. It is for the buddhi. Vyavasayat bhikya buddhi ekeka gurunamdana bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo avyavasayinam. So what a wonderful statement. This verse should be given 1000 Nobel Prizes. Vyavasayat mikya buddhirekeha gurunamdana. In the yoga that I am presenting before you, Arjuna, the only factor that counts here is the resolute nature of the intelligence. What? Are you following my expressions? The intelligence should remain resolved, resolute. That resoluteness of the intelligence is what counts here. You look at the world, look at your own life. Now tell me whether there is anything beyond Sukha Dukhas? Huh? Why don't you be firm in there? Huh? The widespread world as well as my extended life, both can give me only Sukha Dukhas, nothing else. Be firm. And these Sukha Dukhas are transitory. They are produced by your mind. So should you look into the world for them? तब तो क्या करना है? कुछ नहीं करना. कुछ नहीं करना है. सिर्फ रहना gloriously, gloriously, harmoniously. moderately eating, moderately talking, moderately playing. Adopt the principle of moderation and live your life. The eyes will see, the ears will hear, the mind will think, the intelligence will inquire, the heart will beat, the lungs will bellow. Everything will go on. If the earth is revolving, will not our heart beat also? Why are you so much worried about? You know, a good life, if you are able to live, the earth will be a heaven. What is the trouble of India now? The trouble of India is that population is our one trouble. Somehow we are not able to manage the wealth the country has. We are also not able to produce more without damaging nature. In 1700, India was contributing more than 23%, more than China's, for the world GDP. 1700. How much is it now? So, more than 300 years ago. People say, knowledgeable people say, honey and milk were flowing in India. Can you imagine the treasure kept in some of the temples? Say Padmanabha Swami temple in Trivandrum. How is it that they have so much of golden treasure? Unless people had it. Robert Clive, 600 shiploads of gold he sent from West Bengal to Britain. And he said, this is only the tip of the iceberg. What do you say? I am very sorry, my dear souls. We are meddling with democracy. I am happy. Holding the proprietorship over the whole land and the power to enact the laws, should not any reasonable government give at least food for the people to eat? Do not we Indians have enough of resources to provide food for everybody? We are exporting rice, you understand. Is it not the insufficiency of our public administration? Why are you keeping quiet? Huh? Am I talking to walls? See, the government holds the laws, the power to make laws. They possess the entire land. Keeping these two, they cannot provide meals for the starving. When economy and economic progress is there, they don't have to feed. People will feed themselves. In as much as economic advancement is not sufficient, to whom we shall look to? Only to the government. And I cannot understand any meaningful government can say no to the starving stomach. It's all a mistake of man. And you say, God. Roads are made by us. Vehicles are made by us. Traffic laws are made by us. 4.5 lakhs of people die on our roads. Tell me, who is responsible for it? Why are you keeping quiet? Give me an answer. Why are you inviting God there? We made the roads. We made the vehicles. We made the traffic rules. We administer the traffic rules. Violating all these rules, if accidents take place and 4.5 lakhs of people die on our roads, who is to blame? Boliye na. After the electronic signaling system was introduced on the railways, accidents are very, very minimal now. We should know to behave. We should know to conduct. Character, behavior and interaction are the three focuses in human life, in any kind of an administration. Vyavasayatmika buddhirekeha kurunandana. Unless you are able to decide very clearly that Sukha Dukhas are the only experiences we get from the world and the life, and the right attitude towards them is to foster equipoise towards them, not to be deluded by the Sukha and not to be depressed by the Dukkha. Have a principle of moderation, a principle of evenness, and then disarm them. Disarm them. My dear Sukha, you can no more delude me. My dear Dukkha, you can no more depress me. Become thinner and thinner, feebler and feebler, lighter and lighter. I am the one who lords over you. You are never to lord over me. I have got sufficient intelligence to overwhelm your impact. You are created within my mind, in the mental plane. In that creation, Mr. World has nothing to do. It is solely my creation. The bubble my mind creates and floats over it. That bubble is never superior to the mind. Whatever power you have, infinitely more does my mind have, I have. Can you assert this? At least imitate me and tell me what happens. This world is not ours. We are of the world. And we can hardly do anything about it. There is nothing taking place here anew for the first time. History repeats. We refuse to learn it. That is the trouble. If you miss this singular point of view, the result will be Bahushaka Hyananta Ascha Buddhayo Avyapasayina. Your intelligence will work in multiple directions, pulling you here and there, and you will have no lodgement at all. Totally dislodged you will be. But if you can have this weapon of knowledge, you will find you will become stable. Did not Arjuna become stable after listening to Krishna for about 2 or 2.5 hours? He said, I am going to take back my bow and weapon. If necessary, I will fight a score of Mahabharata wars, he said. The man who was afraid of one, now suddenly says, a score I can fight. This is what knowledge can do. Illumination can bestow. Enlightenment can enthuse you too. I shall stop. Tomorrow, I would speak about the so-called Karma Yoga. There also you will find the factor and the practice are the same. But the links appear to be different. A point that people do not understand and they miss invariably. संवेद्यवर्जितमनुत्तममेकमाद्यं संवित्पदं विकलनं कलयन् महात्मन् हृद्येव तिष्ठ कलनारहितक्रियां तु कुर्वन् अकर्तृपदमेत्य शमोदितश्री कुर्वन् अकर्तृपदमेत्य शमोदितश्री Harihi, 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 Om Tats. We shall have the conclusional Omkara. Be ready for it. I forgot to tell you, 2 people from amongst you came and told me, Swamiji, we feel very relaxed and also blissful after listening to the talk. Okay.